Well, hello, hello, hello. You are joining the No Brainers Empowering Possibility Show. These are dialogues of encouragement with fresh perspectives, invitations to ahas, a little bit of science, a dash of behavioral psychology, and a whole lot of creative fun. So if leveling up is on your radar, my friend, you are at the right show. I'm Roseanne Marsh. I'm the author of the teen and parent empowerment curriculum called Level Up, and you are listening to episode number 16, Enriching Your Physical Soil to Plant a Better Mind Garden. You've probably heard the saying that the battle of our lives will be won or lost in our minds, meaning that the ability to control our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs will be what we need to be able to survive life's challenges. So it's critical to figure out the triggers that come up suddenly when we least expect it. And our success and even our happiness hinges on our ability to process and understand how these things happen in our life. And then to guide our thoughts where we want them to go. There's a difference between being a creator and an unconscious creator. We want to be able to create in our minds and go forward. That skill to harness our thoughts and feelings and switch our moods will change our lives. And on this podcast, you're going to get a lot of helps and tips and skills that can aid in understanding and wrangling thoughts. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about thoughts, go back to episode number 3 for more information. So today's episode is the piece that will lay a foundation for mind work, and it's a skill building for psychology. Because to set us up to succeed, we need to do our part with the proper physiology to make sure that physically there is nothing standing in the way with the mind work that we do. So life is truly like a garden. We all have a beautiful garden. We are growing in it whatever we want to plant. Think of the garden as you and your mind. What is growing there is what you planted in your mind, right? You may find beautiful flowers, fruits and vegetables, beautiful vines, bushes, exotic trees with succulent fruits. But if you're like all gardens around, especially my gardens that you've seen, you're going to have weeds popping up all the time. Mind control is the weeding that needs to happen, pulling out what shouldn't be there, what is choking out the plants that bear the fruit, and what is trying to literally take over the garden. We all know the plants grow better when they have fertile ground. The richer the soil, the better and healthier the plants will be. And when we create a soil environment that can aid the plants, they're more resilient, they're able to bloom and grow and really become the magnificence that they're meant to be. So we've all seen plants growing out of rocks or peeking out of a crack in an asphalt. It's amazing. Something can always grow, even in the toughest of conditions. But I'm sure you've all seen the difference when a plant is given the nutrients, the water, the sun, the temperature they need. They thrive. So we're the same. There are things that we can do physically that will set the stage for our minds to blossom, to thrive, to develop into the capacity that they have. So in today's episode, it's all about setting us up to succeed by doing physically those things that can support and enhance our mind's ability to function. When we are struggling with anxiety and depression, overwhelm, angst, emotional control, mood swings, brain fog, and the list literally goes on, one of the ways that we can support healing and mind health is to look at the 5 areas where we can physically influence our health and thus our mind. So let's look at creating a beautiful soil to support our mind garden. I want to tell you a true story. This happened in a mountainous area of Montana. The winter winds and the snowstorms were created really a record-breaking snow depths. They never had them that deep. And at a certain pass where many of the herds would go between the mountains was trapped because of, well, it was closed off because of an avalanche. And that's where the deer would go through to be able to get the vegetation they needed to survive. Now that they were being blocked off, they had no sustenance. So hearing of the dilemma And really, the impending doom of these beautiful deer, the town people rallied and they brought in water and bales of hay. And the deer were ravenous and delighted in the readily available food. But here's what's strange, before long, the deer started to die off. So why would they be dying off when food and water was being provided? Well, as the numbers dwindled, they finally did an autopsy to discover what the mystery was. And unknown to the townspeople was the fact that deer cannot process hay, and therefore they were dying with their bellies full. So the first physiological area that we can control is what we eat. Live foods are the fertilizer for our mind garden. So we live in a time of fast foods, restaurants, processed packaged convenient foods, and many things that, while they fill the belly, they do very little to bring us life. In fact, there are many things that fill us, whether our stomach or our minds, that while they may seem satiating, they do very little to nourish and strengthen us. So we have a spectrum of foods that energize and revitalize, and they bring us health. And then we have another group of foods that diminish and hamper, and they cause havoc with our bodies. So if you eat something live, it brings life. If you eat something dead, it brings death. So in our culture of fast food, inexpensive food, and grab-and-go convenience, compromise, and even some strategic addictions have been planted to secure that people can get a better market share and higher profits. So there are many processed foods with specific ingredients in them meant to create an addiction in us. And a feeling of, being satiated, but you're still hungry. So a holistic friend of mine said, processed foods void of life come already wrapped in a plastic coffin. I think she just described almost every snack food found in the center aisles of grocery stores. So as we eat dead foods that are void of a vibration of life, we diminish our health and our strength. And it is hard to extract long-lasting energy to sustain us out of fast carbs and empty calories. We're electrical and chemical beings that require energy to be able to continue. Isn't it fascinating that our organs work without having to plug them in somewhere? So what's that source that gives us life, that keeps us going? Well, the Chinese call it qi, or life force given to us from the universe. So the foods we eat, they affect our qi, our energy. And the foods we eat affect how well our organs can work. And we really only get one body. Unlike owning lots of different cars when they run out, when ours is worn out, it's not like we can go get another body. So how we treat this beautiful vessel we're housed in is really defines what the quality of life is that we have. So the gut is essentially the second brain. Have you ever heard, if the gut ain't happy, the brain ain't happy? So what goes on in that second brain, the gut? What we eat directly affects the brain. So gut bacteria lines the intestines and the stomach, and there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. And just like thoughts, they broadcast out their needs vibrationally. I mean, they're yelling it out. They're like, hey, I want that chips and that pizza. I want those carbs. The bad biome are calling out for that. And the good biome are thriving on foods that are the closest to how Mother Nature produced them, because they are thriving on that nutrition. So if you have an overabundance of bad bacteria, they're calling out for all those things that are addictive, like sugar, and they are calling for it. That's what the cravings are. They lead to poor energy and they affect your mood and your health. And sugar, of course, we know is the main feeder of cancer. So it's a war in that gut neighborhood, in our stomach, in our intestines. And if it's overrun with bad tenants, we struggle to have a natural energy. And we even struggle to have clarity and vitality. So the first line of defense is eating live foods. And the second is adding a probiotic and even a prebiotic to our daily vitamins. So if we are what we think, oh man, we definitely are what we eat. So we asked a group of teens what they thought was the number one thing they could do to change their health. when it came to eating. And they answered, eat more vegetables and eat more fruits. And these are excellent answers. And yes, yes, yes. And then we asked a nutritionist, and she said, well, besides those and adding more water, the greatest gift your body could have is to eliminate simple sugars. Yep, sugar. 30 years ago, sugar was produced in a very different way. But now sugar is almost in every convenience food item there is. And it's highly addictive. Even they say more addictive than morphine, than heroin. We now have added and even hidden sugars in 74% of our prepared foods. So there's 61 different names that sugar hides under. So you could search the internet, but look for natural forms of sugar, such as like fructose or fruit or honey. Even our recipes at home can be made healthy, can have a little healthy overhaul if we substitute it with some of these things. So I want you to think, so if one of the 5 physiological things we do, eating is so important. What are one of those things that you could stop eating? And what is one thing that you could start eating? So the second physiological area that for our mind garden is hydration. Pure hydration is the water for your mind. Okay, food we can survive without for weeks. I don't want to have to do that. But water, we can only survive 3 days before our internal organs start shutting down and the brain no longer has any function. The only thing besides water that we can't survive without is air. So our bodies are about 60% water, but the brain and the heart are 73%, according to the Journal of Biological Chemistry, and the lungs weigh in at the highest at 83%. Our skin is 64%, and our kidneys and our muscles 79%. And even our bones have 31% water. So do you see a theme going on here? We are water. Our cells are crying out for hydration, and our immune system is saying, I can't get around to those bad cells and attack what's in there if you don't give me hydration, because I can't get through the bloodstream. Being dehydrated for the immune system is just like imagining a fish trying to swim upstream through pudding. That is unimaginable. So when we are thirsty, did you know that once we have that thirst, we're already dehydrated? And so some of the signs of dehydration are a dry mouth, increased thirst, tired or sleepy. I mean, if you're tired, start drinking water. And hard bowel movements, headaches, dizziness, dry skin, rapid heart rate or rapid breathing, sunken eyes, brain fog, low energy, muscle cramps. So our body really needs water. And we're talking about water. Not all drinks are created equal. We're a community of energy drinks. Never before in the world history have there ever been a fascination with energy drinks to get everybody the energy, but water is the pure energy. So if your hydration of choice involves carbonation or caffeine or alcohol, you may be doing more harm to the body than good. Yeah, caffeine and carbonation and alcohol are known diuretics. And of course the diuretics pull the water out of your body. They make you pee more. So if there's sugar in your soda, your sports drinks, energy drinks, then you're really not doing your body as much good as if you just drink a fruit juice or maybe water. So the acid in soda has been known to erode the enamel on your teeth. And then, wait, haven't you heard that you can tenderize meat or pulled pork and chicken with soda in a crock pot because of the acid level? And some researchers classified soda as comparable to battery acid because of the level of acidity. Whoa. So have you ever done a science project where you put a rusty bolt in cola, only to have it come out shiny clean? So if you're a soda drinker, and I know there's a lot of us out there, I was until about 21 years ago, a rule of thumb is when we drink a cup of soda, you need to drink 2 cups of water to offset the dehydration. So it's important to drink consistently. So consume each day a minimum of an ounce for half your body weight. So for example, if you weigh 160 pounds, then you need to drink 80 ounces of water. So there was a time when foods that we ate had a lot more water in them, but vegetables and fruits have high quantities of water. But our diets have changed, and therefore the need for water has changed. So water for our body, pure water, is the water for our mind garden. Now the third physiological area is breath work. The mind garden needs aeration. So breath work is the aeration for the mind garden. Breathing through the nose coordinates electrical activity through the networks of the brain regions that are associated with emotions, with smell, and with memory. So just attend a yoga or a qigong or a kundalini or a meditation class or any other similar class, and breathing becomes an integral part of the totality of that whole experience. Mindfulness training is aided by the focus on the breath. And now science, they're coming up and proving that breathing literally is a treasure that we have been underutilizing. I love breath work for many reasons. First of all, pick an emotion, and you can usually identify a breath pattern that goes with it. So if you're scared, you might be breathing like in your chest, or if you're in love, it might be sighs, or if you're crying, it may be short breaths at the top, it might be a little bit of hyperventilation. So think now of a time when you were depressed or blue about something or someone. Perhaps you're just worn out from the drama of life and you just wanted to pull the covers over your head. But what would your breathing pattern be like? So if you said it's shallow and slow, well, you would be right. Your breath may even be accompanied by deep sighs. So whenever our breath becomes quiet with pauses and sighs, we're really depriving our body of valuable oxygen it needs. And that means it's going to burn sugars and fats and acids in our cells so that we can have energy. So we bring oxygen into our bodies by filling our lungs. Doesn't that make you just want to breathe out and in for a second? And then the red blood cells deliver the oxygen to the entire body. And then the cool thing is on the exhale, we release all that carbon dioxide and we give back to Mother Nature something that she can recycle to give us back oxygen in return. I think it's a pretty remarkable relationship we have with living plants. So oxygen depleted bodies are tired, they're less effective, the organs struggle, the brain runs out of energy. We have diminished performance. So why then? Why then would we not take advantage of the opportunity to rid our bodies of carbon dioxide and fill our red blood cells with energy-giving life? So here is a breath exercise that I absolutely love. And I came up with it after my son had gone through something traumatic, and we needed a way to just pull the plug on the drama and the trauma. So this breath is useful if you're angry, if you're stressed, and you're already in that high state of alert. A conscious way to signal to your body that it can release is to try this pull the plug breath. So this can be done standing up, wherever you, or for maximum, you'd be laying down. But even if you're sitting there, you can try it. So first of all, I'm going to explain it to you. You'll straighten your arms to your side. And on the inhale, you are going to start clenching your fist first, then tighten your arm, your muscles, your chest, your shoulder, your neck, your face. Holding on as you inhale. And then when you exhale, you're now going to slowly release all the muscles and feel the tenseness literally go out like a drain. And then you can even imagine the tenseness and anger literally swirling downward as if it's like draining into the ground. And release your tongue, your jaw, your eye sockets, your neck, your shoulders, your shoulder blades, everything. They should be consciously relaxed as you pull the plug on your tension and allow it to release. So let's try that again. Our arms are down, tense everything. You can do that as many times as you needed to just get in that state change from anger to now more in calm. And then continue with a diaphragmatic breath. Now, I'll have a breath expert that's coming in a couple episodes from now. So make sure you stay tuned, because breath work is literally a way that we aerate our mind. and we aerate our organs. It's critical for us, and it's one of the fastest ways to have state control. Now, that fourth physiological area is exercise and movement. Oh, exercise and movement helps to strengthen the mind. There are many health benefits that come from regular exercise. But one of the most overlooked is that if you're feeling stuck in your life, get your body moving. Seriously, start walking or jogging or running to create forward movement. Your body and mind perceive a forward movement, and it can translate that into other areas of your life. So there are lots of different ways that you can have movement. And movement really is a medicine in your life when you think about it. And let me give you some of the examples of what movement can do for your life. It can improve your mood. You go out there, you change the state control. Movement and exercise can boost your energy. There's nothing worse than just sitting for a while. Get up and walk and move around and get the blood circulation going. Movement and exercise brings better Z's at night. You can sleep better if you've been exercising. Movement and exercise can help control weight gain. Movement and exercise can help with health conditions. Exercise can be social and fun. And workouts can help you get sick less of the time. And it can also help improve the look of your skin. Did you know that through sweat, if we're sweating out, we're helping unclog our pores. Of course, we're going to have to clean those, right? But you pick whatever flavor of exercise that you want. It could be that you do it in a group or you do it alone. And if you like a group, do you start a group? Do you organize a group? Do you join a group? And decide, how many times a week do I want to exercise? What kind of variety do I want? Because there's 5 different ways to exercise, to have 5 different categories of movement. The one is aerobic exercise, and that's where it helps you breathe harder and builds up your fitness. Then there's strength training, and that's where we build up our muscle definition. The third is stretching, and many of you maybe do yoga. Stretching helps keep that body flexible and supple. Think of your body as if it was made of rubber bands. What are we doing to make it a lot more supple? The fourth is balance training. And this helps you improve your balance. It strengthens your core so that we have more stability. And then the fifth is endurance training. And literally that could apply to any kind of exercise you do if you just do it harder or faster or for longer periods of time. Then we build up our endurance. So what do you like to do for exercise? And seriously, a default that I have, here's one of my favorites. I just turn on an upbeat playlist that I have going on and I sing out the lyrics and I dance strong. And I go for as many songs as I can. And have your friends, your family join in. It's a great family thing just to get everybody up and dancing. So here's my question to you. When you think about your exercise routine, since that's an important part of the physiology of improving our mind garden, then what do you like to do? How do you like to exercise? And what are you going to add? And maybe what are you going to change this week when it comes to exercise? Now, that fifth physiological area that we can do to be able to change or enhance our mind garden is literally sleep. Sleep is not overrated by anything. I couldn't believe it when I was younger that I would babysit kids and they were like, I don't want to go to bed. And I was like, do you understand how amazing it is? What a privilege it is to go to bed. So really, if you're a teenager, you need more. If you may know that you need 7, you may not need 6, but there are times when our body is in need of more sleep. But when we look at the benefits of sleeping, it's as important as all those other physical things that we're doing. The circadian rhythm is, if you haven't had a chance to look at the clock of a circadian rhythm, you can actually identify when do you have better coordination during the day? When do you have better clarity during the day? When are you more alert? When does melatonin come into my body? And you can see when you can maximize the circadian rhythm, or the times when your body is at its best. So if you haven't ever had a chance to look at a circadian rhythm clock, I suggest you do. Those who work on different schedules, it takes them a while to get their circadian rhythm changed. Now, one of the things that really interrupts circadian rhythm, of course, is a blue light from a computer. The light from the computer screens, the phones, the tablets, the electronics, they emit what is called blue light. And that can be dangerous and almost degenerative to the eyesight, but more importantly, doesn't let us go to sleep. Because when light starts going down, melatonin comes into our brain, and it triggers for us, hey, it's time to rest and repose. But the blue light almost stimulates it. I don't know about you, but many times I'll get on my phone right before I want to go to sleep, and then I find that I endlessly continue going because now it's almost like I've given myself an energy boost. So 1/3 of our life is spent in sleeping. So we really need to make a quality of life. So what happens when we're sleeping? Well, first of all, there are 4 stages that our brain goes through while we are sleeping, which is so incredible. The first stage is it's a relaxed wakefulness stage. And that's kind of a transition when we spend maybe the first 10 minutes, and this is when we start to drift off to sleep. And then we move into stage 2, and that's a light sleep, and that's a regenerating sleep. We spend about half of our night in this stage, and that's when our airways relaxed. This is the easiest state to be like awakened, startled. If you had to be startled, awakened, you can get somebody out of stage 2. The heart rate and the blood pressure, they lower, and the eyes have no movement. So it's the rest and recuperate stage. Now, the third stage is the deep sleep, and that's the most restorative one. This is the stage where the brain gets cleansed. No kidding, this is so incredible. They did some investigation on mice, and they realized that when they went into stage 3, there was almost a liquid that came into the brain, and then it was removed. It was like it came in, cleansed the brain, and then removed it, almost like a dishwasher. So at night, one of the most restorative times of the night, our brain is cleansed. It's really incredible. Then we go into the 4th stage, and that's the REM sleep, and that's our dream sleep. And this is a stage when the brain is the most active, and the body, get this, is paralyzed. How crazy is that? So our body's not moving, but our brain is the most active. Now that's kind of nice that our bodies are a little bit paralyzed, because can you imagine if we had an active brain? Maybe that's where sleepwalkers are. It has to do with that, because they engage at that level. But so what can we do to make sure that we have a good sleep hygiene? So what can you do to enhance it? A couple things that we can do: an hour before you go to sleep, get off your electronics and stay away from the blue lights and the overstimulation, because we really want that melatonin to come in. The next is read or journal or take a bath or shower and write down questions. I love this. Write down a question you want your brain to answer during the night. And it's amazing because the brain, when it gets into that stage 4, it's very active. It'll start thinking and problem solving for you. And then try to have a set bedtime that you can shoot for, so that you can keep your circadian rhythm on its cycle. And then if you toss and turn for more than 20 minutes, don't turn on the electronics. Get up, maybe walk around for a minute. When you start feeling a little bit tired, then that's when you should lay down. And if you suffer lack of sleep, maybe you should consult someone who is a physician, someone that can help you with that. So those are the 5 areas that literally, if we will cultivate them, we are planting a more fertile soil for that garden mind. Because life is truly like a garden. When we look at the physical areas that we can enhance and enrich, we are giving our mind, our emotions, a better ability to think, to problem solve, and have richer relationships around us. The physiology before the psychology. So which of those areas do you want to cultivate to help your mind garden grow and blossom to its capacity? Hey, thank you guys for tuning in today. I appreciate you being here. And as always, we're always here Fridays at 2 o'clock Pacific time. And when you join us live, the second half is live, and that's when we get to use the skills we get to share as a community. Thanks so much, you guys, and thanks for tuning in. Take care.